Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. It is your favorite girl, Imani Bailey. What is going on? See, I'm always having to like adjust something. Okay, sis is here.
His body, baby. His body, baby. Oh, oh, na na. Bum 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 bum. Oh, na na. Na 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 na. Oh, na na. Bum 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 bum. Oh.
This is good. How are y'all doing today? How are you doing? Are you Alright, but if you are new here, do not forget to hit the subscribe button. It is totally free. If you want, you can hit the bell and it will notify you every time I upload a video. My schedule is on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So this video is like, this has been speaking to me because I feel like a lot of women and people in general get manipulated a lot, and we just gotta put an end to it, sis, because it's starting to really get out of hand. And if you see me, like I always say in a lot of my videos, if you see me looking down or looking at my stuff, it's because I had to do some research and breaking down the types of different manipulations, because I am the definition queen. Definition Ace queen is right back at it. Okay, so a manipulation is a noun. The first definition is the action of manipulating something in a skillful manner. The second definition is the action of manipulating someone in a clever or unsculptuous way. Ooh, manipulation. Now there are different types of manipulation. Thank you, Stanford. There are 3 different types of manipulation. Someone can manipulate you to A, influence you, to B, form as a form of pressure, or for C, trickery, to just trick you, to just be evil. 1 in 9 people are sociopaths in this world. There's a high possibility that you have come across or maybe dating one of them. Y'all know I love conspiracies. Here are some signs you may be manipulated in a manipulative situation or dealing with a manipulative person. The first sign is if you clicked on this video, we didn't find each other by mistake, okay? So if you clicked on this video and you start watching this video, and when I said it was about manipulation and you started thinking, is this person manipulating me? 9 times out of 10, that person is manipulating you. So if you click on this video with the intent of feeling like you're thinking about a person, sis, listen to that intuition. Secondly, if you feel guilty, if you do stuff and you feel guilty, your significant other or a guy that you're talking to, a guy that you're dealing with is making you feel guilty all the time about specific things, 9 times out of 10 he is manipulating you. If you're constantly questioning yourself, a person is 9 times out of 10 manipulating you. And this goes into, like I said, trusting yourself, and I will be doing a whole trusting yourself video aside from the cheating. Now there is an excerpt of trusting yourself in the cheating video that I do have, so you can all check that out if you would like. There are other signs of if you feel like you're being manipulated. If you have to constantly second guess yourself, well, that kind of goes into questioning yourself. Or if you're constantly confused about what you did to someone, or what you did to your significant other, what you did to your boy that you're talking to, and you're walking on eggshells, you could be manipulated. Now here are some examples. These are examples that I have I have been through almost all of these examples of manipulation, so they are near dear to my heart, and now that I am older, I'm able to recognize when I'm being manipulated. But a person, like I said, if y'all can visit my episode 1 of childhood traumas, if you're a person that's constantly dealing with these type of people and you start to think that stuff like this is normal, then you cannot be fazed by it, and you might not even notice when you're being manipulated, loves, and we don't want that. Ignorance is not bliss. I'm put that one at the bottom. This is the first one. Negative humor. Negative humor is definitely a sign of manipulation. Now negative humor is, a man can use this to disempower you and point out your weaknesses or point out your insecurities, things you might be insecure about. Let's face it, as women, sometimes we're not always the most secure, and sometimes we have parts of ourselves that we wish we'd like, or that we would like more than others. Everyone has that. You are human and it's perfectly okay. But what is not okay is if someone is making jokes making jokes or having negative humor towards something that they are very aware that you're insecure about, and then they follow it up with, oh my gosh, you can't take a joke, like, oh my gosh, are you serious? you can't take a joke. I know it may seem small, but pay attention to the people that you're dealing with and the men that you're dealing with, because a person that has negative humor will not just do it once. They will do it, I don't want to say pretty often, but it will happen on more than 3 occasions. And it might not be all together. It can be sporadic, but it will happen. So one example is, say if I'm out with my significant other, or you're out with your significant other, and someone compliments you and says, hey, oh my gosh, like you're so pretty, and your significant other tells the person, no, she's not all that, don't tell her that. And then y'all walk off, and then when you tell your significant other, like, oh, what was that about? I mean, she said you're so pretty, like you're not even that pretty, like you're not even all that. Someone has to humble you. And then when you sit and think in your head like, what? Okay. And then your significant other follows up with, oh my gosh, can you not take a joke? Negative humor. And it could be in the form of anything. It could be in form of, hey, if you have the older iPhone, oh my gosh, like why do you always, you have the older iPhone, why do you have always older stuff? It's to basically simultaneously and subconsciously break down and pick at you, to where, you know, a lot of people who have this are doing other things along with this type of manipulation. So that leads us to the next one, victimhood. Has someone ever done you dirty and then act like the victim? Guys are notorious for this if you allow them to. So victimhood is exaggerating personal issues to exploit goodwill from you. So if someone is really not really going through what they're really going through, just to get that goodwill from you, like, oh my gosh, like, oh my gosh, I'm so sick, I can't even like deal with my car right now, can I just use your car for like 2 weeks? Like I don't even want to. It's to exploit the good person, the little good angel that you have sitting on your shoulder, to get what they want from you. And these type of people, victimhood, they can use it for sicknesses. If they're actually sick, they can basically over exaggerate and play the victim of what they're living. So if someone's from a living situation who is not like you, or they call you silver spoon with that negative humor, and then all of a sudden, you know, play the victim of, oh my gosh, but when I grew up, the reason why I don't know how to do this is because when I grew up, we just had to do this. And it pulls on your heartstrings. Women fall for this all the time. I have fell for this. Don't do it, sis. The next one is playing dumb. So when someone plays dumb, they can be delaying a reaction or action, stalling, and just downright manipulating you as a whole. Now, I'm pretty sure us watching this video, or anyone watching this video, has probably played dumb before, like as a child. Have you ever done something as a child and your mom or your dad finds out, or whoever, you know, you live with finds out, and you know when they find out you're going to get in trouble, so you just play dumb, like you act like you don't know what they're talking about, just so you can stall, get a little bit of time. And then because sometimes your parents, they know, you know, sometimes they might catch it, but sometimes they might not, especially as a child. So they know, like, okay, well, they really didn't know. Men use this same tactic growing up. Manipulative men manipulative people use the same tactic growing up, just to be like, oh, I didn't know that if we were exclusive that I couldn't sleep with anyone. Like, we didn't define exclusive. I didn't know that. I really didn't know that. It's my bad. Like, how would I know if we didn't define that? Now, come on now. The word exclusive means exclusive. We can all look it up in the dictionary. So to play dumb, yeah, y'all catch my drift? Getting into the next one is a huge one. If you follow me on Instagram, I did have a small discussion like about this not too long ago, and this one is the silent treatment. I've noticed the guys are really pulling this one, sis. The silent treatment. Now, this is borderline emotional abuse. When we're walking, manipulation is a thin line between just being manipulative and emotional abuse, and it's a very fine line, but when going unnoticed, it can topple over to the emotional abuse side. Now, someone who uses the silent treatment is basically trying to take power by silence and your mind and your uncertainty. Now, as a woman, when something happens, a lot of females, when we care about someone, we kind of want to know what's going on, what did I do, or whatever. Now, guys use this tactic to just fall back, not say anything, ignore you at all costs, know they're alive, know they're not at work, you know they're off of work, they're on social media. Because he's upset with you and he doesn't know how to properly communicate, he gives you the silent treatment. Now, the problem with the silent treatment is when you ignore somebody who truly cares about you and trying to make things better, or if y'all got into an argument argument and they're not even sure what they did, uncertainty starts to settle in. And the longer the silent treatment goes, the more uncertain you may get about feelings, what you did, what you should do. And borderline, there's two types of ways to handle this, and I'm going to get into that next when I talk about how to handle being manipulated. There are other little tactics like guilt tripping. Now, we all kind of know what guilt tripping is. However, I feel like when people fall in love, or when people become emotionally attached, when women are emotionally attached to a guy, we kind of ignore these little things and that's why I'm here to point them out to you so that you will no longer ignore these. But guilt tripping is when someone just makes you feel guilty and kind of pull on your heartstrings to make you give in to anything that they want. It could be something very small, it can be something very big. But a lot of times I realize manipulators, they don't only manipulate when it comes to huge things. So if you're watching this video and you're like, okay, well, he hasn't manipulated me to do like something crazy, so maybe I'm off hook. No, it always starts off as something smaller and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. No one just goes in for the kill right away. You kind of got to fill out your person, and this is what manipulators do. They kind of fill out their person. They can get to see how far they can go with manipulating you, and then they kind of build on that. So when it comes to we're taking them out to a date or whatever or so forth, keep this in mind. People love to build on things. Another thing is gaslighting. Now, I never knew what gaslighting was until I turned about 22 years old. When someone is gaslighting you, let me show you an example. Let me explain to you an example, because I love examples. All right, now when a person is gaslighting you, they basically make you question your sanity or make you question how you feel. Well, no one could really make you do this, but from the responses you then question, okay, maybe I'm tripping, maybe I shouldn't have taken it like that, or whatever. This is gaslighting. Say you are out with your boyfriend, right? And y'all are out together and a woman walks by and you see that he looks at her in a way that he shouldn't be looking at her. And you see him with your two eyes. You see him. You check him on it. Like, okay, so you're gonna do that, and I'm like, right here, like, that's rude. Someone who's a gaslighter will in turn flip the script on you. What do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? Like, oh my gosh, are you just that insecure? Like, why would I do that? Like, why would I look at someone? Come on now, Imani. Like, come on now, why are you always doing this? I thought, like, I'm with you, am I not? All right then. Now that type of response would ward I mean, yeah, he is with me, and I mean, men will be men, I guess. And maybe I am a little insecure, so maybe I shouldn't have ever checked him on that. Maybe so next time I just won't say anything. Now, a real man, I don't want to say a real man because most of these men are, I guess, men, but a mature man, if you were to check him or something or tell him your feelings, he would own up to it. He would not want to hurt you. He would not want you to be upset. He would not flip it on you. He would not call you insecure. He would apologize. He would say you're right. He's not going to do it again, and then in turn follow it up with not doing it again. That is example of gaslighting. Now I'm gonna give you another example. Now, say your significant other is doing something they're not supposed to be doing and they get caught up, and you get information that kind of that tells you that they're getting caught up. Now, as a woman, you might bring this information to him and say, hey, I got this information of this girl. Like, who is this girl? If your significant other blatantly lies to you, when you know for, like, you kind of know. I mean, granted, someone could be lying, but it's like you kind of know, you kind of add up the dots. But when someone blatantly lies to you and you know it's an outright lie, like you have the proof and you know they're lying, like you might know more than you let on, but that's just because you want to see if they're going to tell the truth. If you have proof and someone blatantly lies to you, that's gaslighting. Now that one, yeah, you can tell more because you have the actual proof versus the one that I told you earlier. Another one is their actions do not match their words, and this is a form of gaslighting. So a guy could tell you, hey, I really love you. I'm so in love with you. You're like the only person that I want. Like, I really can see us together long term, but they don't act like it. It kind of throws you off. It confuses you, and it goes back to the definition of making you feel uncertain and questioning your own sanity, questioning what you're seeing, questioning what you believe that is in your heart. I'm telling you one thing and showing you another. Eventually you're going to start questioning, like, okay, he says he loves me, but he doesn't do this. He doesn't care about my feelings. When I tell him how I feel, he kind of has an excuse, or he brushes it off, or he flips it on me. A guy who loves you, when you tell him him how you feel about certain things. He's going to do everything in his power so that you don't feel like that. Another thing that I've learned, if you ever talk to a guy, this is still part of gaslighting, and he says things like, you're crazy, or she's crazy if he gets caught doing something, or my ex is crazy. First of all, that's the #1 red flag. Okay, if you're talking to a guy and he has ever said a woman was crazy, at the camera. But gaslighters will do everything to kind of combat what you really feel, what you really see, and by calling you crazy and wearing you down with these little manipulative tactics that I explained earlier in the video, eventually a man can wear you down to where you feel like you're going crazy. Silent treatment, same thing. When someone gives you a silent treatment and they ignore you for days on that end, they ignore you for 12 hours or 24 hours or 48 hours, it will make you feel crazy. It will make you want to call them non-stop, blow their phone up, message them on social media. Please refrain from doing that. If someone is going to give you the silent treatment, let them be silent. Let them be silent. There are two ways you respond to it. Either let them be silent or just break up with them. Fall off the face of the earth and stop. Because when you start calling them, texting them, it's giving them that power that they know that they wanted from giving you the silent treatment in the first place, and they will in turn do it again. If a man gives you the silent treatment one time, he's going to give you the silent treatment another time. I promise you. Because a man who truly cares about you will not do that. He will address something, I promise. Last but not least, there are a couple other ways that someone is gaslighting you. They project what they're doing on you. So I feel like we've kind of heard about this, but like I said, when people start falling in love with people, certain things just go out the window and we kind of turn a blind eye to it. But say if someone is cheating and they constantly accuse you of cheating, like no matter what you're doing, you're like, what? I'm not even cheating, but they constantly accuse you of doing it, it's probably because they're doing it. Or when you bring up something and they just flip it on you and project it on you, they never want to take fault and the things that they do, own up to it and change it. Here are some things that you can do if you've watched this video and you felt like you are being manipulated, or you've been manipulated in the past, if you learned some different things. Here are some things you can do if you're in this situation, or if you ever encounter the situation I hope you do not love, because it's not a good place to be in. First thing you can do is leave, okay? And leave. And leave. And leave. Get out of there, sis. And I'm not telling you how to leave. You can make your exit dramatic and you can say, hey, I don't want to be a manipulator, and leave. Now, if you say that, a manipulator will flip it on you or try to pull at your heartstrings. Keep that in mind. So if you notice you're being manipulated, the best way to leave is to just fall off the face of the earth, or tell them you don't want to be with them, you can't be with them, it's not working out. But don't tell them, because they're manipulators, because they will manipulate you into staying, sis. The second thing is, don't take it personal. Like, I am the queen, I don't know about y'all, but I take things very personal, especially if I've been with someone and I emotionally attach myself, I've cared for them, I've done things for them, I was there for them, I was good to them. I take things personal because it's like, I wouldn't have done it to you, and that's why I'm taking it personal. But you have to realize that we can only control what we can control. We can't control others. We can't control others' instability, their emotional intelligence or ignorance or anything, childhood traumas or whatever they got going on. So don't take it personal. Someone who's manipulating you, they have more going on with themselves than it has to do with you. They just want to keep you into that loop and have power over you. So please, please don't take it personal, love, because it will drive you crazy. Third thing is, if you've watched all of this and you're in the relationship, or you're dealing with this person and you found yourself emotionally attached to this person to where you don't want to leave, or you don't feel strong enough right now at this point to leave, and that's okay to recognize that. But I want you to write things down. When you feel like someone you're with has manipulated you and you're not quite ready to leave yet, write it down. Write down the incident, down what they said, write down how you felt, write down if you went to them about something and what was their response. And then that way, like, people manipulate you, they continue to do it. So when you have a Bible of things written down about this man manipulating, girl, you will get the courage to up and leave. I promise you, you will. Something is so powerful about writing things down, and that way you can actually look back on it. When certain things happen and you're so caught up in love and so having good times, and but he gave me flowers and he did me this and he bought me a Louis Vuitton bag and whatever, you start to kind of forget the things that happened like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, sis. You need to write it down. The other thing is dealing with the silent treatment. Now, like I said, just to reiterate it, let them go silent. Not reach out to them, not say anything else. If you reached out to them like regular, of course, and you see that they ignored you, don't keep reaching out to them. Let them go silent, and when they come back, you have enough ammunition to gather your thoughts, do what you want to do. You can break up with them, you can say, hey, I'm not dealing with that, I don't deserve that, and move on. Simple as that. Don't get caught up in a person that gives you a silent treatment, because they will do it again. I've experienced this firsthand. They will do it again. And the last thing is sleep on it. If someone is making you rush into making a decision that is kind of a big decision, which is kind of falling into peer pressure type of manipulation, sleep on certain decisions. Say that you need to think about it. If your significant other is pressuring you to do something, tell them that you need to think about it. You don't want to make rash decisions on someone else's time and be very impulsive and then end up regretting something, no matter what it is. If you need time to think on something, think on it. Take a day, sleep on it. You want to have a clear mind and understanding in order to make these types of decisions. And that's all for today, loves. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much. I love you all, and like I always say, stay true to yourselves. If you have any questions, you can email me, you could comment down below. By the way, my lashes are in the style kickback. Just gotta show you. And they're going to be found on my business page, so follow my business page, Bailey Lashes. Everything will be linked down in the description box. I love y'all so much, and like I always say, stay true to yourselves.